Thank you. Welcome back, Mr. Kambai.
Mr. Kambai, ñu la dalalat.
Before the break, we were talking about what happened to you when you were taken to the NIA and taken before the panel. But before we get into what happened at the panel, can we confirm your date and place of birth?
21st March 1970.
21st March 1970. Where were you born?
Bakau Sanchaba.
Bakau Sanchaba. Thank you very much. So now tell us.
Council, before you get to that question that I was going to raise, or just go ahead and do sorry to interrupt you, but I want to seek just a clarification of a minor point, but for me it's crucial. It probably is a 5-10 minute encounter that you were witness to. You had mentioned that when the American soldiers came to State House, one of them, the first one, I think you talked about two. The first one had been talking to President Jawara, and if you heard the exchange between them, you indicated that the president had said that these were his soldiers, these were men in the armed forces of the Gambia, and he would see them. But at some point, you've said, the American soldier wanted him to go. I'm not sure if you were indicating that he didn't want to go, and I think the translation was he took him by the hand. If it was grabbing him or whatever, he did not, and then took him down to the car. There was another American soldier there who, I think again your description was not very clear, that they turned him around, as you put it, and he was then put in the vehicle. You weren't implying, witness, that he did not volunteer to get in that car to go to the American frigate at the port. If you were implying that it was not voluntary, I don't think the Americans came in there to kidnap Jawara, forcibly take him to the vehicle, and then get him out of the country. I may be exaggerating it at this point, but that's the implication. Can you just clarify this point at that moment, what exactly happened during that 5-10 minute period that you were witness to between Jawara and the two American soldiers? Sorry, interpreter.
Let me try to summarize that. am na loo fi wax bi nga njëkk a wax ca gannaaw xew-xew boo xam ne xew na ci diiri juróomi minute ba diiri fukki minute wax nga ne yaa ngi teewoon jamono joo xam ne soldaari Amérique ñëw na di wax Sir Dawda Jawara pour mu ànd ak moom waaye nga dégg ci kàddu Sir Dawda mu ne moom de du dem ndaxte ñii ay nitam lañ ay soldaari réewam lañ léegi nag mu del di ku jël xëcce ko ci loxo yóbbu ko xëcc boobu nga doon wax nag gannaaw buñ demee ba ca moto ba ñu fekk fa beneen soldaar kooku tamit jël ko dugal ko ci biir moto bi maanaam ni mu muru daal mooy bi mu xëccee loxoom ca njëlbeen dafa mel ni ku doon delloo loxo bi gannaaw li ma bëgg a laajte foofu nag mooy ndax yow ci sa kàddu lim tekki mooy ne Sir Dawda dem boobu mu doon dem bi ko soldaari Amérique bi doo wax ne ñu ànd bi muy xëcce loxoom bi ànd bi mu ànd ak moom dafa ko woon ci coobareem maanaam dafa mel ni daal moom Sir Dawda soldaari américain yi dañ ko forcé yóbbu ko ndax loolu la sa kàddu gi tekki wala déet.
Solarist Americans bu ñoo ñëw
When the American soldiers came,
dañ ñëw bés bu ndey bi ñu taxaw
they came to the gate and then they stopped.
il faut ñu taxaw ndig time boobu security force ba mu fa woon state guard
And they had to stop because at the time there were security forces there of the state guards.
gars yi jox président bi information bi
They gave the president the information.
président bi wàcca upstairs to downstairs
The president came from upstairs to downstairs.
ak mënu naa remember man maa ngi taxawoon foofu mu ngi wax di security officer bi plainclothe bi
I can remember because I was standing there and he was speaking to his security officer, the plainclothes officer.
mu ngi ko wane these are my Gambian soldiers
And he was telling him, these are my Gambian soldiers.
su gaa ñëwee dinaa wax ak ñoom
When they come, I will talk to them.
any agreement mën naa ko solve am the president
And any agreement, I am able to solve it because I'm the president.
waaye time boobu gaa yi ko jox clearance ne ko am na American soldat yu ñëw
But at that time, they were giving him the clearance that there were some American soldiers that have arrived
gaa yi ñu si bunta bi
and that they were at the gate.
then mu give go ahead pour ñooy ñëw
And then he gave the go-ahead for them to come in.
ñoo ñëwee
When they came in,
ñooy ñu noo wax ak moom
they were speaking to him
moom tam mu ngi tontu
and he was responding.
si la ko jox loxo
That is when he stretched out his hand
si la ko xicca nii
and pulled him
mu toog si moto bi
and he sat in the vehicle.
moto bi U-turn
And the vehicle made a U-turn
moto bi dem
and went away.
waaw loolu xew na foofu
That happened there. Well, natural question is, was he forced into the vehicle or was he just pulled into the vehicle, assisted to get in?
laajte bi mooy moom Sir Dawda soldaari Amérique boobu daf ko forcé mu dugga ci biir moto bi wala daf ko doon jàppale pour mu mun a dugga ci biir moto bi.
non daf ko doon assist
No, he was assisting him
pour mu dugga si moto bi
to board the vehicle.
waaye su doon ne by force la woon
But if it was done forcefully,
by time waxuñu woon pour ñu disarm
at that time they had not to ask us to disarm.
foogu ma ne American soldat yi mënuñoo dugga waxtu boobu biir State House
I do not think that the American soldiers would have come into the State House at that time.
ñetti soldat rek
Just 3 soldiers.
amuñ am fetel
And they did not carry any weapons.
foogu ma ne gars yi dinañ mën a kidnap président bi ci suñ éwee
I don't think they would have been able to kidnap the president in such a way.
te ñoom tam am nañ mission bu la woon ne
Maybe they too had a mission which indicated to them that
dañu war a dem président bi
they should go along with the president.
waaye lii moo fa xew
But this is what happened.
Thank you very much for that clarification. So Jawara was not kidnapped by the American soldiers and forcibly taken to the ship.
waaw jërëjëf ci leeral boobu mi ngi mel ni Jawara kofuñ ko rek forcé ko pour mu dugga ci gaali Amérique yooyu noonu.
Musa.
Thank you, Council. You may continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for those clarifications. Quite helpful indeed. So here we are. You were taken to the NIA by Bobaji. You were left there until the evening. And tell us what happened.
waaw léegi nag yaa ngi nii Bobaji jël na la yóbbu la NIA ñu bàyyi la fa nag ba ca ngoon lan moo xew.
waaw boori 7 o'clock
Around 7 o'clock,
am benn NIA officer ku ñuy wax Kinte
there was one particular NIA officer by the name Kinte. What's his first name?
Musa Kinte
Musa Kinte. Yes, proceed.
Musa Kinte nyo nema hana Musa jeno woro kiwa dara Bobaji.
Musa Kinte came to me and said to me, hasn't Bobaji told you anything?
Manako did it.
I said to him, no.
Munema then kai tok even si benen nek bu ndaw.
He said, well, then come and sit here in one small room.
That
was where I sat, and he said he was going upstairs, and if there was anything, he will come back and inform me. That was where I was until 8:30.
7 to 8 o'clock.
From around 7:30 towards 8 o'clock. Morning or evening? Evening. They came and picked me up from there. They took me to Bambadinka. Who took you from there to Bambadinka?
Kan mo la jele fofu yebula Bambadinka?
Musa Kinte.
And
some security NIA officers.
And some NIA officers.
Lamin Dabo.
Where in the NIA do you call Bambadinka?
Fan ban bor ci NIA nga ndi oye Bambadinka.
Fognane fofu mo nega sen worst cell so far.
I think that is their worst cell so far. Where exactly is it located as far as you can recall?
So nga muna fatale ku diga ban bor ci NIA la Bambadinka neka.
To begin NIA,
when you get into the NIA premises,
on your left.
On your left. Upstairs or downstairs?
Ci kaw wala ci suuf?
Suuf, sir.
Downstairs. The witness has just identified the same exact location we were told was Bambadinka. Proceed.
Egalil.
That was where I was until 2 a.m. They came and collected me. Who?
Lamin
Dabo.
Musa Kinte. Third guy,
I don't know the third guy.
Upstairs.
They took me upstairs. How were you taken upstairs?
Naka lañ la yobbo ci kaw?
Lamin Dabo bala ma gëna ci cell.
Before I came out of the cell, Lamin Dabo,
mu ne daf ma solal nylon bag.
He wanted to put a plastic bag over my head.
I'm a gentleman.
But he said that I was a gentleman.
He just cuffed my kanam.
So he cuffed my hands in front of me.
Then guy escorted me to go.
And then I was escorted upstairs. When I got to the top,
I found a panel like this top.
I found a panel seated just like where we are. Tell us about the composition of that panel.
Panel bobu nonu ñan ñoo ci nekkon?
Panel bu bari won na security officers, while this upper security officers yep NIA ak police.
There were many security officers in that panel, but most of them were NIA and members of the police force. Can you tell us who you can recall were there?
Dañu mëna wax kan nga fatale ku ñana ñan ñoo fa nekkon?
Alaji
Mor, do you know his full name or last name?
Alaji Mor xam nga santam.
Job. Do you know his full name?
Xam nga turam dega turam yeb ak santam.
Alaji Mor Job.
I think it's Alaji Mor Job. Proceed, please.
Egalil.
Alaji Mor ñu ne ma xana yow bu la dara.
Before we get to that, let's try to establish the composition of the panel, those who you can recall, those whose names you can remember. You've told us Alaji Mor Job was there. You were escorted by Musa Kinte and Lamin Dabo. A third person you don't know. Tell us who else was at the panel.
On this panel the police and other NIA officers. How many?
The panel was comprised of police officers and NIA officers, and I did not know them.
Military officer panel.
There was no military officer in that panel. Okay, proceed, please.
So,
how many of them were there? How many?
Ñom ñaata ñoo fa nekkon ci panel bi?
Panel bi dina aga roughly 18 or almost 20.
It will be about 18 or almost 20 individuals. Proceed.
Alaji Mor mu ne ma xana jub kini wala dara Bobaji.
Alaji Mor said to me, hasn't Bobaji told you anything?
Maneko no.
I said to him, no.
Mu ne ma Bo sacrifice you.
He said to me, Bo has sacrificed you.
Mu ne ma you must sign a statement.
He said to me, you must sign a statement.
Maneko ban for statement la sign.
I asked him, what kind of statement will I sign?
Mu ne ma Comme how to call it, Bobaji.
He said, well, since Bo Baji has not told you anything, we have nothing to tell you here. You have to sign these documents, and then you find your way.
At this stage, did you see any documents you were to sign?
Jamono bobu won nañ la ben kayit yo xamne dang ko wara sign.
No,
No, I was not shown any document.
At this stage, have you been interviewed?
Jamono bobu nak amna ay laaj ak tontu yu dox sa digante ak ñoom.
Did it?
No.
At this stage, have you been told why you were taken to the NIA?
Jamono joju wax nañ la lan mo tax ñu yobbu la NIA.
Did it?
No.
Have you been told that you had the right to access a lawyer?
Ndax jamono joju tamit wax nañ la ne mën nga am lawyer bo xamne mo la teewal.
Did it?
No.
So here they were, they told you you had to sign a statement. Did you in fact know what that statement was to be about?
Légui nak ñu jox la kayit ne dang ko wara sign ndax xam nga li nga xamne mom lañ bind ci kayit bobu lan la?
ñu ne la da nga wara sign kayit.
You were told
kayit bobu lan mo ci nekk.
You were told that you had to sign a document. Did you know what was contained in that document?
Yes, sir.
No,
And
sir.
then what happened after that?
Lan mo xew gannaaw bi?
And then after, mangi taxaw jëmuna ma pour ma undress.
After I stood and Job asked me to undress.
Which Job?
Alaji Mor.
Lajimor.
Fekk ma ngi sol uniform.
At the time I was dressed in my military uniforms.
Manako Alaji Mor du mëna possible.
I said to him, Lajimor, that cannot be possible.
How do you know he was Alhaji Mor?
Naka nga xamé ne koku Alhaji Mor la tudda?
Spend na time mom nekk na fa for 3 weeks ak mom.
I spent some time with him, about 2 weeks inside the NIA.
After la xamé mu tudda Alaji Mor.
That was after that I knew that he was Lajimor.
And how about Musa Kinte and Lamin Dabo? How did you know who they were?
Musa Kinte ak Lamin Dabo ñom naka nga xamé ne ñom ñoy ñooñu?
The same time we must spend ñom fofu la.
It's the same time that I spent with them there.
Proceed, please.
Legi Alaji Mor ak Lamin Dabo,
Lajimor and Lamin Dabo,
ñu jëma try pour jasma.
they were trying to kick my legs off the ground.
Waye ma ngi déglu ci suuf waxtu bobu.
But I stood firm.
Waye lu mu remember,
But what I can remember,
amona ko ma osi gannaaw.
someone called me from behind,
Ma ngi gestu,
and I was trying to look behind.
ma amu ma hit.
Something hit me,
So lolu living cause ma may mir,
and that gave me some dizziness.
ci la collapse.
That was when I collapsed.
Where were you hit?
Fan lañ la door?
Fi ma dur ci bari bot.
They hit me just above my eye.
Could you lift your beret so we can see if there is a scar?
Mën nga ñëw won ekati sa mahana bi ñu seen ndax am na liggéey bu fa nekk.
Could you indicate the spot?
Joxoñal ñu fan la?
Do you know what you were hit with?
Xam nga lan lañ la dooree?
Xamuma ko de waye xam na ni metti na de.
I don't know what it was, but I know that it was painful.
So you collapsed, you fainted.
Léegi nga home daanu.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
I am going to give you a photograph of yours. So could you just circle the spot where the injury occurred and then you sign the document?
Am na nataal boo xam ne yow yaa ci nekk ndax di ñu mun a feeñalal béréb bi nga xam ne fa la liggéey bi nekk boo ko wëralee ba pare na nga dal di ko sign.
Could you sign the document? Put your name and signature and date.
Binda fa sa tur nga sign ko ba pare wax bés bi tamit.
Sabina.
So as a result of this blow, you fainted.
Dóor boobu nga xam ne moom lañ la dóor ci nga xom.
So kindly tell us what happened when you came to, when you regained consciousness.
Léegi nag wax ñu gannaaw bi nga xamee ne xom nga ba delluwaat ci sa sago.
Legi bu ma jógee ci loolu
After that,
this guy handcuff bi ci kanam.
The handcuff which was in front of me.
Léegi handcuff ba ngi nekk suma gannaaw.
Now my hands were cuffed behind my back.
Pare suma uniform ñu ko xooti.
And also my uniforms were torn.
I'm naked. maa ngi naked totally.
And I was totally naked.
You mean completely naked? No briefs, no underwear, nothing?
Completely.
li nga tekki mooy ne daal amul benn yére boo xam ne moom nga am du tubéy du mbuba du dara.
Completely.
And you were before this panel of 20 men?
te yaa ngi ci kanami ay kilifa yoo xam ne tollu nañ ci ñaar fukka.
At this stage, how did you react?
jamono boobu nag loo def.
waaw mënu moon a react ndig mënu moon a dox mënu moon a def dara so maa ngi téléphone bu seen ron.
I couldn't react because I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything, so I just lay there.
Because
my head was bleeding at the time.
What I realized,
they were beating me very well at that time.
What were they using to beat you?
I think it could have been iron rods because the beatings, each time they hit me, I used to bleed. I was beaten until my entire body was all with blood. So falling material, and that was where I was made to lie down. And there was a tussle amongst the panel members.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain this? What this tussle? What was it about?
Whether this was worth it or not. I heard that being said. But at the time, I was unable to do anything for myself. I was lying there on the floor.
After 30 minutes,
Bobaji came. When he came and saw my condition, what I realized from him, it was not pleasing to him. But he was speaking to me, but I could not respond to him because I was bleeding. That was when I saw him leave and went together with Alaji Moore, and they went away.
Did you hear any conversation between the two of them?
No, guy didn't buy a panel.
No, they left me at the panel, which was upstairs, where I was lying on the floor, and they came downstairs.
But as they were going out, did you hear them say anything?
They
were speaking, but I could not capture exactly what they were saying.
In your statement, you indicated that, and I quote, well, no, let me take it a step backwards. Say, after a while, one of the panelists asked them to stop, or else they will kill me. And they stopped, and then Bobaji arrived. I had him pushing and pulling with Alaji Moore.
This was not the agreement.
This was not the agreement.
Who said that?
Bobaji.
Who did he say it to?
Alaji
Moore.
What was he referring to, as far as you understand?
The first day then set up. The first setup.
My observation, according to the way I see things, is what they told me from the first day, that Bo set me up.
But what did you understand Bo to mean when he said that this was not the agreement?
yow bi nga déggee boo wax ne lii day du woon liñ nangutoo yow ci sa bopp loolu loo foog ne moom la tekki kàddoom boobu lu tekki.
And according to your statement, you said, and he angrily left the room and Alhaji More went after him.
te comme ci ni ko bindee fii da nga wax ne boo ba moo génn ci saal boobu daf ko génne ak mer Alhaji More toppa ci gannaawam.
Boo at the initial time depuis bu ma gaa waxee ne boo daf la set up.
From the initial stage when I was told that I was set up by Bo, and Bo came and found me in that condition,
at the same time,
and at the same time he left me in that condition,
then
then I know that whatever agreement it was they had with Alhaji More,
part of setup la.
All of it was part of the setup.
Do you believe that Bo agreed to what happened to you?
ndax gëm nga ne boo nangu na ci li nga xam ne moo la dal ànd na ci.
boo dafa pretend ne happy wut ci sama situation ni ma gisee.
Bo pretended not to be happy with my situation.
waaye gis naa itam lu ko neex la.
But also I realized this was something that pleased him.
waaw bàyyi na ma ci condition boobu nekk ci condition boobu for 3 days.
Because he left me in that naked condition for 3 days.
gisatuma boobu.
I never saw him again.
Until
Bo went to mile 2, that was when I saw him. Until when I went to mile 2, that was when I saw him.
If he was happy with your situation, why would he leave there angrily?
bu fekkoon ne moom kontaan na ci loolu nga xam ne moo la dal ba lan tax mu génnee fa ak mer.
waaw gis naa ne xëj na bugutoon xëj na dóor ñu ma dóor xëj na mu maa wane ma bugu ko.
I realized that perhaps he was not pleased with the beatings that were meted on me.
Waaw mënuma woon tam dara li nga xam ne tuumal nañ ma ko te pare na ma see génne o man pare na ma wax lu ma def.
But also I realized that he could not tell me anything that I was accused of or even prepared to get me out of the situation that I was in.
Even the first day,
even when he left the first day,
NIA officers,
the NIA officers, what they usually tell me,
the army sacrificed you,
is that I am sacrificed by the army.
Did they tell you how?
No, because of money.
They could not tell me how.
Okay, on this particular occasion, you were stripped naked, handcuffed behind your back, beaten thoroughly, you were bleeding all over. Bo came and left angrily. Alhaji More followed. What happened after that?
Léegi nag fi mu nekk nii jël nañ sa loxo yi ceene ko ci sa gannaaw dóor la dóor yu métti ba yaa ngi doon nàcca boo ñëw Alhaji More ànd ak moom génn dem lan moo xew gannaaw loolu.
After dañ ma drag foofu upstairs.
I was dragged from there to the upstairs.
And
I was returned to the Bambadinka.
Who made that order?
Kan moo joxe ndigal boobu.
Alhaji More.
Alhaji More.
And how were you taken to Bambadinka?
Naka lañ la yóbboo Bambadinka.
Dañ ma carré.
They carried me.
And where were your clothes?
Ana sa yére yi booba.
I left them in the hall.
Did you go to Bambadinka with your clothes or without your clothes?
Ba nga dem Bambadinka yaa ngi yóbbuwaale sa yére yi wala yóbbu soluloo yére.
No, suma ina sad bi ngeen suma solo ngeen suma weex bi.
I had my t-shirt, my white t-shirt.
Boobu la ma joxoon.
That was the one they gave me.
Bu ma demee ci seel bi.
How about your underwear?
Sa jiital bi nag.
So you were naked from waist down?
Yes, for 3 days.
Yes, for 3 days.
So they took you to Bambadinka?
Léegi ñu yóbbu la Bambadinka soluloo dara ko dalee ci suuf.
Were you alone there?
Yow kenn fa nekkoon.
Yes, sir. For the first day, I was there alone.
Yes, sir. For the first day, I was there alone.
But you were left naked for 3 days?
Yes, sir.
Waaye ñu ngi la bàyyi soluloo dara ba ñetti fan.
What happened the second day when others came to the cell?
Lan xew nag ci ñaareelu bés bi nga xamee ne indi ñeneen ñu fekk si la ci cell bi.
Well, second day, sir.
In fact, the second day
was first day.
Was even worse than the first day.
Because already suma gani ñu heal.
Because at that time my wounds were healing.
Have started to heal. Proceed.
Fofu singa fa dori def di trop.
So when you are beaten on the same spot, it used to pain a lot.
So tell us about that second day, what happened?
wax ñu ñaareeli bés bi lan a xew.
Mr. Witness, are you able to proceed or you need more time?
Seeda bi ndax mën nga eggal na nga bëgg ñu may la tuuti.
Thank you very much. We know it is very difficult relieving all these things. We just crave your indulgence. It is important that we hear what you went through.
Dëgg la nag xam nañ ne pour nettali métit bu toll noonu nga xam ne daloon na la dina jafe trop pour yow waaye ñuy sàkku ci yow rek pour nga xamal ñu li nga xam ne mooy jaar-jaar yi nga xam ne foofa nga jaar.
Thank you very much for your willingness to proceed.
Jërëjëf li nga nangu pour eggali.
So tell us what happened the second day.
Léegi wax ñu lan moo xew ci ñaareeli bés bi.
Second day moo gën a worse first day bi.
The second day was worse than the first day.
Tell us what happened while you were in the cell.
Wax ñu lan moo la dal jamono nga nekkee ci cell bi foofu.
Lamin Dabo dafa ñu génne ma ci cell bi.
Lamin Dabo came and took me out of the cell.
Waaye boobu daf ma solal nylon bag.
But he put a plastic bag over my head.
In your statement,
ci sa kàddu yi nga xam ne moom lañ binda.
You said the next day at night again.
Wax nga ne ca ëllëg sa ca guddiwaat.
Musa Kinte came.
Musa Kinte ñëw na.
Was it Lamin Dabo or was it Musa Kinte?
Lamin Dabo la wala Musa Kinte?
They came together, but then I'm very used to Lamin Dabo, but it's Musa Kinte.
ñoo àndandoor de Lamin Dabo miin naa ko waaye nag Musa Kinte la.
Okay. So when you said it was Lamin Dabo, that was a slip of the tongue.
Yes, sir.
Bon men ñu rëccal daal bi nga xeen Lamin Dabo la ba Musa la.
But you can confirm it was Musa Kinte.
Yes, sir.
So proceed and tell us what happened when Musa Kinte came.
Musa Kinte lan xew bi Musa Kinte ñëwee.
Bu Musa Kinte ñëwee.
When he came,
he
took me out of the cell. But as soon as I came out of the cell, a plastic bag was put over my head. Just as I told you earlier on, that was more painful than the first day. Because the people who were doing the beating were many.
Okay, so let's take it step by step. And you were taken out of the cell, and the plastic bag was put over your head. How about your hands? Was anything put in your hands? Yes,
they were cuffed.
And then what happened?
They took me behind the story building.
And then what happened?
That place was very difficult.
Tell us what happened.
I was tortured seriously.
This time around, as you went there, did you wear any pants, any underwear, apart from your singlet?
Jamono joojuñ laa yóbbu nii nag ndax soloon nga benn tubéy wala benn jiital lu utee nag ak genso bi nga sol rek.
In fact, the t-shirt, I did not put on it. They only gave it to me so that I can use it to wipe out the blood on my body. I was in Bambadika completely naked throughout the entire period.
So when they take you at the back of the main building, you are still naked?
No.
Plastic bag over your head? You were handcuffed? In front of you or at your back?
Behind me.
And you were led to the back of the building, of the main building. What happened there when you arrived there?
I cannot even be in charge of myself.
What did they do to you, if anything?
They gave me a worse beating than the one they gave me while I was at the panel upstairs.
As you were being beaten, did they ask you any questions?
So I believe it was either Musa Kinte or Lamin Dabo who were telling me, "Sir, just try and sign this document."
At this stage, did you know what document you were being asked to sign?
They did not show me any document.
Were you told the contents of the document you were expected to sign?
What they told me was a witness statement.
Did they say a witness to what?
No, they didn't tell me anything else.
So in essence, you're telling this commission that you were in the dark as to the nature and contents of the document you were required to sign.
Wonderful melni yaange wax commission bi yow dal ci lëndëm nga nekkon rek xamuloo won dara ci mbiri kayit bobu la wax ne dang ko wara sign lan mo ci nekk.
I know nothing about it.
On this second day, did you agree to sign anything?
Legi nak ci ñaareelu bés bi ndax nangu nga pour sign dara?
I didn't sign anything.
In your statement,
ci sa kàddu yi nga xam ne moom lañ bind nii.
You indicated
that
it was only Musa Kinte and Lamin Davo's voice I recognized among the torturers.
Ne baati Musa Kinte ak Lamin Davo ñoom ñaar ñooñu rek nga xàmmee seen baat ci ñépp ñi nga xam ne ñoo la doon mitital.
That is what happened.
That's your testimony.
Loolu nga wax.
You heard Musa Kinte.
Dégg nga Musa Kinte.
You heard Lamin Davo.
Dégg nga Lamin Davo.
It's your evidence that both of them participated in your actual torture.
Loolu mooy sa seede gu wér ne ñoom ñaar bokk nañ ci mitital bi ñu la doon def.
Could you indicate your answer by saying something and not just nodding your head?
Mun nga bañ a yëngal sa bopp rek wax waaw wala déet.
ñoom ñaar bokk nañ ci xamee naa seen baat.
The two of them were a part of it. I spent some time with them, and I also recognized their voices.
After the beating, what happened?
I was taken back to Bambadinka.
On the third day, tell us what happened. I know that there is an aspect of what happened that we have written on this paper.
We are not
going to discuss that here, but we would put this document in the evidence. Apart from this particular issue, tell us everything that has happened there. Okay. You confirm that that is a document that you have signed, correct?
Yes.
And you agreed that this should form part of your testimony.
Yes.
And that it should be treated confidentially.
That's true.
Could you send it back to me? can you now tell us what happened there the third night?
Léegi nag ñetteeli guddi ba lan moo xew.
boobu moo nekk guddi bu gën a serious.
That was the most serious night.
Because fekk na suma yaram yëpp gaañu na.
Because at the time I was having injuries all over my body.
yëpp ngi commencé wér ni pour lekk góom.
All of them were beginning to heal.
buñ commencé dóor.
When they started to beat,
boobu nangu ma sax pour gars yi continuer.
I did not allow them to continue.
Inte def ma ne ma Sam seenal li.
Kinte told me, Sarge, sign this.
boobu dama ko seen sa si lu gaaw a gaaw.
I signed it quickly.
It was very painful.
Because it was very painful.
Before this time, had you ever been interviewed to give a statement?
Balaa waxtu wi ndax am na yenn laajte yoo xam ne laaj nañ la ko pour nga joxe sa ay kàddu.
Did it?
No.
Did you see that document before?
Kayit boobu gisoon nga ko balaa loolu.
Did it?
No.
Did you know the contents before you signed?
Xamoon nga li nga xam ne moo nekk ci kayit boobu balaa nga ko sign.
Did it?
No.
So you did not know what you were signing?
Kon dafa mel ni yow li nga doon sign sax xamuloo woon lan la.
Did it, Council? No, Council.
How did you know which part of the paper to sign?
Naka nga xamee ban boor ci kayit gi nga war a sign.
ñoo ma joxoon fu ma sign.
They pointed to me where I was to sign.
ñoo ma signal fii.
They told me to sign there.
ñaari empty paper la.
There were 2 empty sheets of paper.
benn bi ñu ko binda waaye xamal ñu ko binda.
One of them was written on, but I don't know what was written on it.
because suma bët bi dinañ gis boobu ngi nii woon.
Because my eye was not seen properly, it was swollen.
ba pare jox ma time sax.
And secondly, they did not even give me enough time.
At this time, as you were doing this, where were the beaters, the torturers?
Jamono bi nga sign noonu ñi nga xam ne ñoo la doon dóor di la mitital anañu.
ñu ngi taxaw.
They were standing.
Where were the tools, the instruments they were using to beat you?
Ana jumtuwaay yi nga xam ne moom lañ téye woon di la ko dóoree.
ñu ko amee woon.
They had them with them.
Did you feel obliged to sign that document?
Ndax yëgoo nga ne yow dang war na pour nga sign kayit boobu noonu.
Warut. It was not.
Why did you sign it?
Bon lu tax nga sign ko.
Lead counsel dafa metti.
With counsel, it was painful.
Tell us exactly the reasons why you signed it. We know the beatings were serious, but tell us exactly why you signed it.
Xam nañ ne ne dóor yi métti na lool waaye wax ñu dëgg lan moo tax ba nga sign ko.
dóori la.
The beatings.
Do you think that you would have survived if you had continued to resist signing that document?
Ndax foogoon nga ne nag su fekkoon ne continuer nga di bañ pour sign kayit boobu ndax di nga mën a mucca.
ñoom sax loolu ma wax sax ñu ne ma Sam soo signé lii likely bi doo ko survive.
That was what they even told me themselves. They told me, Sam, if you do not sign this document, it's likely that you will not survive this.
Because ñoom waxtu boobu gisoon nañu sama yaram bi nu mel.
Because at that time, they saw the state of my body.
am na ñu su dóor jaaree foofu.
There are some spots when I am beaten on those spots.
Likely du ma ko survive.
It's likely that I would not have survived.
And as a result of that, you signed.
Bon ngir loolu nag moo tax nga sign.
Well, yes.
So what happened after you signed?
Lan moo xew nag gannaaw boo signé kayit bi ba pare.
waaw after bu ma signé.
After I signed,
gars yi jëlee ma Bambadinka.
I was returned to the Bambadinka.
si élection.
The following day,
gars yi yóbbu ma si military hospital bi.
they took me to the military hospital
ñu ñëw suma fii.
for them to stitch my injury.
bu ñu ko ñëwee.
After they stitched it,
ma ñëwaat Bambadinka.
I came back to Bambadinka.
foofu laa stay nag for 3 weeks.
And that was where I stayed for 3 weeks.
At this time, were you kept naked or you were given your clothes back?
Jamono ji nag delloo nañ la sa yére yi wala soluloo benn yére.
jëloon nañu ma sama yére bi waaye ñu ngi hotel bi.
I was returned my clothes, but they were torn.
And you remained like that in Bambadinka for 2 weeks?
te noonu nga fa nekkee Bambadinka ba ñaari bés yu ay.
While you were at Bambadinka, did others join you there?
ba nga nekkee Bambadinka indi nañ ñeneen ñu fekk la foofu.
waaw after bu ma demee Mile 2.
After I went to Mile 2,
si laa yëg ne isi woon na ñeneen.
that was when I got the information that others were brought there.
waaye mën nañu gisante wu
But we did not see each other. And
gisante wu Mile 2.
While you were at the cell at Bambadinka, was anybody brought in that cell?
jamono ji nga xam ne ñu ngi laa denc ci seel boobu nekk Bamba Dinka ndax indi nañ keneen wala ñeneen ñoo xam ne fekkasi nañ la fa.
waaw isi woon nañ benn rastaman.
Yes, they brought one rastaman.
ñu ngi koy Kemo Conte fàttewu naa turam sax.
They call him Kemo Conte. I had forgotten his name.
waaw mu ne beach bala am xaw ma Senegambia.
He said he had a beach bar, I think, in Senegambia.
waaw isi woon nañ ko foofu.
Did anything happen to him?
moom am na dara lu ko fa dal.
ku tam dóor nañ ko trop.
He was also beaten well.
dóor nañ ko bu baax sax.
They beat him very well.
Do you know by who?
xam nga kan ñoo ko doon dóor.
the same people yu ma dóor ñoo ko dóor.
The same people that beat me were the ones that beat him.
You mentioned 3 names.
ñetti tur nga ñu fi jox.
Alaji Mor,
Alaaji Moor,
Musa Kinte,
Musa Kinte
and Lamin Dabo.
ak Lamin Daabo.
So your suggestion is that these 3 people also participated in the torture of Kemo Conte.
mais li nga wax mooy ñetti nit ñooñu nga lim ñoom tam ñoo doon mitital Kemo Conte.
Who else? Okay.
ak kan.
waaw man ak Kemo rek nekkoon foofu sel bi.
I was there in that cell with Kemo.
ba ma demee Mile 2 si la discover ne am na ñeneen dafa nekkoon.
It was when I went to Mile 2 that I discovered that there were others there.
Do you know, while at Bamba Dinka, how were you surviving in terms of food and water?
jamono ji ñu laa denc foofu sa seel ba Bamba Dinka naka nga doon defee nag wàlli lekk ak wàlli naan.
first 3 days yi.
The first 3 days,
boobu lekkuma dara.
I did not eat anything.
am na benn boy security officer la foofu.
There's one particular security officer there,
jàppoon naa turam sax Mamburi.
and I remember his name, Mambure.
moo dee struggle ndox.
He used to struggle and get water.
You mean smuggle?
waaw.
Okay, he smuggled
dafay struggle
water
ndox. ba pare mu jox ñu ko foofu ñu naan.
and give it to us there to drink.
boobu keeps my life sax for that 3 nights.
And that kept my life for the 3 nights.
You were not given any food.
joxuñ la dara loo lekk.
Were you given money to buy food?
jox nañ la xaalis bu nga jënd loo lekk.
Within that 3 days, did you see or talk to a lawyer?
diiri ñetti fan yooyu ndax gis nga wala wax nga ak benn lawyer.
déedéet.
No,
How about your family?
sa mbokk yi nag.
déedéet.
no.
What happened after the 3rd day?
gannaaw ñetteeli fan bi.
Sorry, after the 2 weeks that you were to remain in Bamba Dinka?
gannaaw ñaari bés yi ay yi nga xam ne def nga ko foofu ca Bamba Dinka gannaaw loolu lan moo xew.
waaw benn bés laa gis gars yi jóg.
One day, they came,
gars yi si moto foofu ci suma boori sel bi.
they brought a vehicle close to my cell.
gars yi génne ma.
They took me out
ñu génnee booy boobu Kemo.
and took that other boy, Kemo,
ñu si waat yi beneen moto.
and they brought another vehicle.
ñu génnee beneen man si beneen sel ku ñëw xam Keba Seka.
They brought one man from one other cell, they call him Keba Seka,
ak Mumin Ba.
and the Mumin Ba.
Do you know whether anything has happened to these people?
xam nga ndax ñooñu nga wax nii am na dara lu leen fa jot.
waaw ñu itam seen body language yu dafa powoon trop juru ni ngay trop.
Those two, their body language was poor. They were badly beaten.
So as far as you were concerned, all the detainees you encountered at Mile 2 during this period were tortured?
ñu torture very serious.
Were tortured very seriously.
All of them, without exception?
dafa mel ni ñi nga xam ne ñoom nga fa gisante woon ñëpp ci Mile 2 ñoom ñëpp dañ leen dóor.
bu baax sax.
Very well.
What happened when you were removed from your cell and put inside that vehicle?
la nga xew nag biñ la génnee ci seel bi dugal la ci biir moto bi.
gars yi handcuff ñu.
We were handcuffed,
gars yi génne ñu NIA.
and they took us out of the NIA.
man bis boobu sax dama foogoon ne xëy na bis boobu ñoo dee sax.
In fact, that day I thought that was the day we were going to die.
waaw moto bi dafa daw ba Mile 2.
The vehicle went up till Mile 2,
ma gis ko mu dugg Mile 2.
and then it turned towards Mile 2.
si la ñu koy admit foofu.
That was where we were admitted
like détenu.
as detainees.
Were you told the reasons why you were taken to Mile 2?
waxoon nañ la lan moo tax ñu laa yóbbu Mile 2.
déedéet.
No.
Did they tell you whether you were charged of a criminal offense?
ndax waxoon nañ la ndax dafa am benn tuuma boo xam ne tuumaal nañ la kon da nga yàqal luwaa.
Déedéet. No.
Were you given the opportunity to speak to a lawyer?
joxoon nañ la yoon tamit pour nga mun a wax a lawyer.
Déedéet. No.
Were you given an opportunity to speak to your family members?
Did it? No.
Were you taken before a magistrate or a judge?
Did it? No.
Was there any paper written by any authority, as far as you know, authorizing your detention at Mile 2 prison?
Did it?
No. Kayit bo xamne amna kilifa bo xamne moko binda joxe ndigal ne dañ la wara yobbu Mile 2 prison.
Did it? No.
And when was the first time you received any paper indicating why you were detained at Mile 2 prisons?
Ci ban jamono nga njëkka jot kayit bo xamne wone na ne dañ la wara tek fofu Mile 2 prison?
I never got that document.
Ultimately, you were charged with a crime, correct?
Waaye gannaaw bi nag tuumaal nañ la dara loo xam ne moom nga def.
Well, yes.
When was that? After how long in Mile 2 did you receive such a document?
Kañ la woon loolu ak ci yan jamono gannaaw bu la yóbboo Mile 2 ci nga jot kayit boobu.
After 2 years. After 2 years.
Do you know what you were charged with after 2 years?
Gannaaw ñaari at yooyu xam nga nag lan lañ la tuumaal ne loolu nga def.
No, sir. No, sir.
But you were taken before a court.
Waaye yóbbu woon nañ la court ci attekaay bi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you were tried.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you know exactly why you were tried?
Xam nga li taxoon ñu yóbbu la foofu pour àtte la.
Xam nga ko dañ ma tuumal rek. I don't know it. I was just accused.
What were you accused of?
Lan lañ la tuumaal ne moom nga def.
Mënu moo na fàtte bu sax tuumal bi sax moo tax bu ma demee high court mënu mën a am lifin pour ut document bi sax. I cannot recall ma xam lu ma tuumal yi ma rek ma appuyé ko mu charge ma xam ma 6 counts of terrorism. For not terrorism, 6 counts of terrorism. I think I was charged on 6 counts of terrorism.
Right. And that document you signed, was it used in the trial?
Kayit boobu nga xam ne moom lañ la sign loo woon ndax jëfoo nañ ko ci jamono ji la yóbbu ci court bi.
Yes, they brought it along.
And were you asked about it?
Laajoon nañ la mbiri kayit boobu.
Well, yes.
Who asked you?
Ku la ko laaj?
The judge.
And what did he say, and how did you respond?
Lan la la wax ak yow loo ko tontu?
Mu ne ma ndax kayit bi sa kayit la ma ne ko bii du suma kayit. He asked me if this was my document, and I told him it was not my document. Mu laaj ma ndax bindu nga statement bu nga jàppee. He asked me if I wrote any statement when I was arrested. Ma ne ko déedéet. I said to him no. Mu ne ma lan la waral sa sign fii. And he asked me then what warranted your signature on this document. Fekk suma ngeen sa bu ma gaa joxoon. At the time, my T-shirt that they had given me, the one that I used to wipe off the blood from my body, when I came with it to Mile 2, confinement, until I got into confinement, they told me to keep that T-shirt safely.
Who told you to do so?
Wasakamara. As evidence. It said to me, you can use this as evidence.
Of what?
Torture. Of torture. That was the T-shirt that I used. And my body language. To show to the judge that was the reason why I signed.
In a sense, you showed the judge the blood-stained undergarment, underwear, and marks on your body to show that you signed that document because you were tortured. Is that what you're telling me?
Dafa melni da nga won judge bi deret yi nga xamne mo taxa ci sa genso bi ak leget yi nga xamne mo nek ci sa gannaaw bi won ko ne li mitital du la ci dal lolu mo la forcé ba tax nga sign kayit bi.
Wa lolu. Yes, that is it.
Do you still have those scars in your body?
Ndax leget yoy ba legi ñu sa yaram bi?
Bi legi sa. Up till now.
I am giving you a photograph.
Could
you confirm that this is your photograph showing the masks in your body?
Yes, that is it.
Mr. Chair, I'll circulate it to the Commission. This is black and white. We are trying to arrange a colored copy. The colored version would be put in evidence.
Li natal la bo xamne dañ ko def black and white waye nak ñu ngi jema ut bo xamne bu color la ñu mën ko duggal ci keyti sédé.
As far as you know, did the judge accept your story?
ci yow ci sa wàlli xam-xam ndax àttekat boobu nag nangu na woon bi nga xamee ne wax nga ko xibaar gi ni mu doxee na ànd na ci.
nangu na ko mu bind ko as evidence exhibit against me.
Yes, he accepted and put that in evidence.
Evidence for you, but not against you.
For me,
In the end, how was your court case disposed of? What was the verdict?
Gannaaw bi nag naka lañ la àttee la ma mooy ndogal bi.
He acquitted and discharged me.
Do you have any document to show the acquittal, the ruling?
Am nga benn kayit bu wone ndogal boobu nga xam ne moom la àttekat bi jëloon pour wone ne bàyyi nañ la.
In fact, tell me if I am right, you were charged together. In fact, you were charged together with members of the MFDC of Casamance.
Léegi mu ngi mel ni dañ la tuumalandoor yaa ñi nga xam ne ñoo bokk MFDC bu Casamance.
You were charged together with some members of the Casamance rebel movement called MFDC. Is that correct?
Yow dañ la boole woon tuumalandoor la yow yaa rebel ya nga xam ne ñoo nekk Casamance ñu di leen wax MFDC.
That is true.
Have you ever met those people before?
Musoon nga daje ak ñoom balaa loolu.
No, sir. No, sir.
You were also charged with someone from the NIA.
Am na keneen koo xam ne tuumalandoor nañ la ak moom ku bàyyee ko NIA.
That is true.
Do you recall his name?
Fàttali ko nga turam.
Keba Seka.
Have you met him before?
Daje woon nga moom balaa loolu.
Waaw Keba buñ dajee mile 2 la ko gis musuma gis.
Keba, it was when we got to mile 2 that I saw him. I never saw him before.
Do you in fact know what acts of terrorism you were charged for?
Ndax xamoon nga ban façon yi ñoo wax terrorisme boo xam ne moom lañ la tuumaaloon.
Waaw prosecutor bi mu ko understand woon moo nekk dafa wax ne man ñu ma arrêté Brikama with this group of people.
Well, from what I understood from what the prosecution was saying is that I was arrested with this group of individuals in Brikama.
That
was why our court case was referred to Brikama. But when we started to explain and it was realized that each one of us came from different areas, different places, that was when he referred the case to the High Court.
And then in the end, what happened? You said you were acquitted and discharged.
Waa léegi lu xew nag ca mujjanteel ba nga ne ci lañ la dal di bàyyi nag lu mel ni yoon daal jégal na bàyyi na la.
Waaw bu ma bàyyee wax baa ngi bëri woon.
Yes, when I was acquitted and discharged, there was a lot of talk.
So
may I consult with the chairman? Just a minute. Sorry about that, Mr. Witness. Do you recall with whom you were charged?
Fatere kunga yow ya kan lañ bolé won tuumal leen.
Keba Seka Malawani.
Is the Keba Seka that I told you about?
Muminba.
Imo Conte. These are the ones that I can remember. The others were foreigners. In fact, those ones, we found them in mile 2.
They were what?
Foreigners.
Okay. All right. So, according to the document you provided, that is the ruling on this case from the High Court.
Okay, binga hamne mom nga joxe ni moy ndogal binga hamne mom la artekay ba jël ci sa mbir.
Kemo Conte was accused number 16.
Kemo Conte mom ko tuumalo mu nek fukel bi ak juroom ben.
And Keba Seka was accused 14th.
Keba Seka moy won fukel bi ak ñeneen.
And what were you? You were accused number what?
Yo ban number nga won?
Na hana fi ko tege High Court the why it's almost 76. I can remember.
706.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you can check with the High Court, but it's either 7 or 6.
All right. Just a moment. So all of you were acquitted except for a few accused persons, right?
Legi mu melni yeen ñepp bayyi nañ leen ne yoon daanut leen dem des ñu ñew rek.
Well, yes. 4 people, that is 8, 9, 10, and 11.
ñoom ñenent la melni juroom ñettel bi juroom ñenentel bi fukkel bi ak ben.
And that they were Maulud Baji.
Te ñooñu bokk na ci di Maulud Baji.
Lansana Prosper Sambu. Dauda Jata. And Pap Usman Baji.
Ak Pap Usman Baji.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Everybody else was acquitted.
Ñi ci des yépp bayyi nañ leen yoon daanut leen.
In fact, in the judgment, in the ruling as it is called, Judge J.E. Ikpala said, I find no prima facie case against the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th accused to warrant calling them to enter their defense. Accordingly, they are acquitted and discharged. And you were released accordingly.
That's true, yes.
And what happened when you were released? Let's do that quickly.
When I was released, there was a lot of talk. I had a friend of mine who advised me. He told me to stay in one place and not to talk to anybody. He said, this is a government affair. You have a problem with the government, and for the government to take you to court, and for you to win the case, there is something that you may say, and you can put yourself into trouble. And you know what you have experienced. I said to him, in fact, I am not well right now. My body is paining me. He was amongst the people who assisted me with fair until I went over to Senegal.
But in the meantime, while you were in detention in Mile 2, what happened to your career in the army?
One year, how much 2 months?
I was there 1 year, 2 months detention. And Bo Baji came there. He said he came to tell me that I should just bear this thing and that it will come to an end. It said the army has promoted you
from sergeant to staff sergeant.
From the rank of a sergeant to a staff sergeant. And also your wife used to come here at headquarters She used to disturb us a lot.
About hale gisula.
About the kids not seeing you.
So mune legi mabina fu authority.
And then he said that I should write an authority so that he can be receiving my salary and be able to assist the children.
For who to be receiving your salary?
My wife.
You signed the document?
Yes, I signed it.
Was your wife receiving your salary?
After 2 years.
Yes, after I was charged, after 2 years.
Remand prisoner la won.
I was a remand prisoner. At that time, she had the access to come and pay visits to me. And she told me, yes, now I am collecting your salary. And she said to me, in fact, it has been increased. And I told her that, in fact, Bo told me that I was promoted to the rank of a staff sergeant.
Did you find it normal or regular that a person detained in prison on the accusation of terrorism would still be promoted in the service?
ndax yow ci sa gis nga ko mbir moo xam ne lu jaadu la pour nit koo xam ne ñu ngi la téye teg la benn place tuumaal la ne danga doon def mbiri terrorisme ba pare ci biir diir boobu tam ñu ñëw yokka ci sa maxaama ndax loolu lu jaadu la.
Lu jaaduwut. That was not normal.
Okay. So after your acquittal and discharge, now you felt that you needed to go away to seek medical treatment and be away from everybody, not to say anything. You went to Senegal. How long did you remain in Senegal?
Léegi gannaaw buñ la bàyyee ne nag yoon amatul ci yow benn yoon nga dal di gis na nag da nga war a génn réew mi pour dem faju ji ci nga dem Sénégal Sénégal nag moom ban diir nga fa nekk?
Am naa fa ñeenti weer.
I was there for 4 months.
And then what happened after that?
Lu xew gannaaw loolu?
After la mas ma jabar call.
But after that, my wife called and said that the soldiers were disturbing her, that they have not seen Sam, and that they wanted to see me. I said to her, well, if that is the only thing, then I'm coming. But my relatives who were there, they did not have any trust in my coming back.
Why? Why?
Because of system.
Because of the system that existed here. Then.
What was the system?
Yaya
Jammeh's government, when they accuse you or levy certain accusations against you, if you are lucky with your life, then you praise God.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
for him, his position, if you are accused of threatening his position, if you are not dead, then he will no longer look like a proper human being. That was why those relatives did not want me to return back. But I also thought that, well, I have someone else's daughter here in the country. And these people, when they cannot reach you, they can reach your wife.
Are you telling us also that that was the system, that if they don't get you, they would go after your relative or your wife?
Well, for me, example, I'm not TRC.
I think all of those examples were manifest here at the TRC.
I'm just asking about your knowledge of the system.
Well, yes, it's true.
So you saying that these things used to happen?
Yes,
as a result of that, you decided to come back.
Well, yes.
Tell us what happened when you came back.
When I came up to Hamdallah, I declared myself. I told them that I am Sam Kambai.
Army intelligence.
They said to me, the army intelligence,
they were looking for you.
They were looking for you.
I'm around.
I told them I am around.
Escort.
They said they were going to escort me. I told them nobody escorted me from Senegal all the way to here.
From here, I report direct to headquarters.
And from here, I am reporting directly to the headquarters. Before my wife or any member of my family would see me,
I report headquarters.
I will report first to the headquarters.
We have food.
Whatever is to happen, so be it.
Report the headquarters.
And that was how I reported myself to the headquarters.
Were you charged for desertion?
Amna ben tuuma bo xamne tek nañ la ko.
Pour
Danga bàyyi
liggéey soldat. No. Should you have been charged for desertion?
Amna tuuma bu la tuuma ne danga daw bàyyi liggéey bi.
Ndax waroon nañ la charge?
Should you have been charged for desertion?
Well, see on Sudan account properly.
Yes, if that was done in a proper way, if I was properly accounted for.
Why get account to me?
But nobody accounted for me.
Go case women so heavy case like that.
But because such a heavy case as this one, and all the hardships that I went through, there was nobody at the headquarters who could address this issue when I was acquitted. What they will tell me is, Sam, how are you? Just bear.
It's not a good result.
And I knew that was not a good result. And also what they told me was not something that I could accept in my head. That is to say that I should just hang on for a while and that when they were ready, they will recall me. In fact, that was the main reason why I had to leave this country and run away. I did not run away so that when I was recalled, I'll fail to come back.
A peaceful mind.
But I just ran away so that I could get to a place where I could have a peaceful mind and also where I could have a treatment and be able to recover.
And when you came back, what did they do with you?
Intelligence office headquarters. I was marched to the intelligence office at Banjul headquarters.
An apology letter to the president, commander-in-chief.
They said I should write an apology letter to the president, who was the commander-in-chief.
Did you do anything to him?
I did nothing to him.
Why did you have to apologize?
That was what I said to them. But what they said to me also,
commander-in-chief.
They said he was the commander-in-chief. You have to let him know of your problem. And also you make him look very sympathetic.
And plead for his mercy.
Yeah, and plead for his mercy.
And was that also the system?
Well, it happened to me. And if it happens to me, it possibly happened to my colleagues as well.
So in the end, did you write that letter?
Wow, intelligence officer. Yes, the intelligence officer. I told him I don't have any other job. This is the only job that I pin my hopes on.
Up and down.
And also my family is going up and down. If they rent here today, tomorrow they are renting somewhere else.
So I
said to him, well then, go ahead and write it.
Why an apology letter?
But let it not be an apology letter. Let it be like
the said soldier.
The said soldier.
Particular case.
The said soldier concerned in this particular case.
Acquitted and discharged.
The court has acquitted and discharged him. And secondly, this is the only job that he has engaged in since he was a young man up till that date.
So if
he could assist me so that I could return back to my work.
So keep my family alive.
So that I can keep my family alive. They wrote that letter and I signed it.
Was there a response?
Yes, there was a response.
And what was the response?
After 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks,
they called
me into Colonel Hinasambu's office. But Hina did not give me the letter. He was reading it. And what I could deduce from the reading,
the president, the commander-in-chief, don't apologize for that soldier concerned.
He was apologizing to the soldier concerned.
Why
but what Hina read,
this said soldier
was this said soldier
has to be reinstated and
and also pay him all his benefits. But what Hina told me,
director of finance
at that time, our director of finance, Emeba, was there.
How to call it, benefit for Vusiman.
They said they had no benefits for me there.
Because of small salary flow.
Because my salary was flowing.
So, then in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks,
he said to me, in the next 2 or 3 weeks,
you
will come back here and we take care of all the issues on this letter.
Deployment fund.
And then we'll check where to deploy you to.
So
when I came back again, what Hina told me,
a chief clerk
and the chief clerk, was that letter was lost.
So I'm one Ben godfather for.
I had no godfather there. Did you need one?
Also na pull am suma letter bubu suma letter sede.
Yes, I needed one to access my letters because that was going to be part of my evidence. But I was not able to have access to that letter.
But were you reinstated in the end?
They never dismissed me from work.
Well, the president said you should be reinstated.
Well,
President Bichileta, but I
yes, that was what was in the letter.
Did you go back to work?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's few minutes to 2. I want to end it there with the witness. And Mr. Chair, you can decide whether you would ask your questions before the lunch break or after the lunch break. I leave that to you. But I have 4 exhibits I want to put in. If you permit me, I will do that. The first is the picture of the witness showing the scar on his forehead. That should be exhibit 177. And the protected information sheet should be exhibit 178. And the picture showing the lacerations on the back of the witness should be, 177 and then 177A. So there'll be one number for the witness. And then exhibit 177B. 177A is the protected information sheet. 177B is the picture with the lacerations. And the ruling should be 177C. We would endeavor to obtain the full judgment, which would have all the names of the accused persons who were tried in this matter. Mr. Chair, that is something you will do. In the meantime, we crave your indulgence to accept the documents as they are presented.
Council, your request is granted. With respect to 177C,
yes,
the judgment of the court, the ruling, I think since he is not mentioned in that piece of paper, you may want to note in the margin that witness testified in the commission here that he was, I think, prisoner number 7 or number 6.
6 or 7, yes.
6 or 7, he said. And that would be part of the record. That would be correct. Because since he's not mentioned at all in that judgment, and let him sign that part, and then we can enter it. Otherwise, all requests granted.
Yes. It is so annotated, and the witness would sign it.
Splendid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I think we can take a few minutes to just finish up with him and get to the next witness after lunch, the lunch break. Fine. Thank you very much, witness, for coming to testify. Truly sorry that you endured so much suffering in the hands of NIA agents.
gannaaw bu ñu dugalee kayit yooyu yëpp ci biir kayiti seede yi nag léegi nag chairman mu ne mu ngi gërëm bu baax seede bi lim nangu pour ñëw fii joxe fi seedeem.
And commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Deputy, you have the floor, followed by Imam Jalal. and Commissioner Carr. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much, witness. My question is a very small one. It's a clarification. Were you at the NIA for 3 weeks or for 2 weeks? Because you keep on saying 3 weeks and the interpretation says 2 weeks.
Deputy Chair bi mu ne moom leeral la bugga rek jamono ji nga nekk NIA ndax ñaari bés yu ay la wala ñetti bés yu ay ndaxte léeg-léeg yow nga wax ñetti bés yu ay la patookat bi wax ñaari bés yu ay ban la ci.
waaw mun naa ko jëli ñaari week waaye ñaari week ak lu toppa la. I can
take it from 2 weeks, but it's been 2 weeks and more. But if we take 2 weeks, then it's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Witness, I have a few questions to ask you, short ones.
The
first question is, while you, Sadauda, was having a chat with the soldiers, American soldiers, did you hear what the soldiers were saying to him?
Did it? No.
Secondly, you said one of the soldiers held Sadauda's hand, turned him around and put him inside the car.
I want a
very honest answer on this. Do you think Sadauda was coerced in getting into the car? Or was he actually forced to get into the car? Under that circumstances, was he really voluntarily moved into the car? Do you clarify, please?
I said when the American vehicles came,
on the ground.
At the time, those of us who were presidential guards, we were on the ground.
By force, arms.
And nobody could have gotten inside there and get the president while we were there with our arms. Where the negotiations came from, I do not know. But when they came, they were not stopped at the gate.
Clearance.
They gave the old man clearance, that is the plainclothes officers. But what I heard him say to those plainclothes officers is that these are members of the Gambian National Army.
We'll tackle the issue.
And when they come, we will tackle the issue. And then he said, let them allow them to come. That was when they opened the gate and they allowed them to come in. What they were conversing with the president, I did not hear that. He greeted the president, he pulled him a little bit and got into the vehicle with him.
And the whole security force was
there.
And the officers, senior officers,
and the senior officers as well.
They bought vehicle.
They boarded their vehicles
and they go with the convoy.
And they went with the convoy.
The last question is, if Sadauda did not get out of the State House,
you
think this coup would have succeeded?
It was going to be very ugly. Because if you heard, let me tell you that there were some soldiers who were weeping. Maybe if Jora was there up till that time, maybe even myself seated here talking to you, I wouldn't have been here today to speak to you.
They were there to protect him, not to sit and cry. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, and then Commissioner Samba.
Thank you, Chairman.
Jërëjëf Chairman, Commissioner Ka mooy wax noonu.
And Mr. Sam, sorry for what happened to you.
Mr. Sam, maa ngi jégalu bu baax ci li nga xam ne moo la dal, maa ngi ko metitlu.
I have some questions I want to ask you.
Dafa am ay laajte yu ma la bëgg a laaj.
The first one is, I wasn't clear about when Alhaji Moore told you that Bo Baji sacrificed you. Do you know what he meant by that?
Man na leerut ma ci li nga xam ne Alhaji Moore wax na la ne Bo Baji moom daf la jébale rek ndax xam nga lu mu tekki ci loolu.
Lu mu tekki moo nekk ci lu ma dugal rek.
The meaning is what I got into.
Dugal case bu amul boppa.
To go into a case which does not have any heading.
Case bu ma xamul lu ma def.
A case where I did not even know what I have done wrong.
Real sacrifice.
That is real sacrifice.
After.
Because Bo, when we had a problem after, until he visited me at mile 2, it was within that time that he was made the Director General of Prisons. Of NIA, so. Then I realized that truly he was working in expectation of something.
When he met you at mile 2, did he apologize for what he did to you?
Bam la fekke mile 2.
To be concerned about your plight at that point.
Bam la fekke mile 2 ndax jébalu won na ci yow ci li nga xamne mom la la def ndax xalaato na yow anam yi nga tollu won jamono bobu.
Bu duwe mile 2 dama ko laaj bo lu xew.
Yes, when he came to mile 2, I asked him, Bo, what happened? I want to know my fate. He said, well, this is entirely with the NIA. And the NIA said this was not part of the operation. They say it's Bo. That was why I put my faith on God.
The other question is, last week before last, or the last session before this one, the last session. Bo came here. And he told the commission that he regretted what happened to you, and he made sure afterwards that what happened to you would not happen again.
Mom wax na fi ci commission bi ne mu ngi jégalu ci li nga xamne mo la dal te di fexé na gis na lu la dal dootu fa xewat.
But from what happened to you, do you believe that was the case, that you know he wasn't happy with what happened and he took concrete steps to remedy that?
Ak yow li nga xamne mo la fa dal yeb ndax gom nga ne mom Bo Baji li la dal neexut ko te amna ay jéego yo xamne mu ko doon def pour safara lolu.
No, that never happened. Because if this thing actually was painful to Bo,
any crime I committed,
if there was any crime that I committed at all, I am a soldier.
There are so many dump places for me to dump.
There are different places where they could have dumped me. There are soldiers who can arrest a soldier who are the military police. And there are soldiers who are also given the task of investigating other soldiers. So, but for Bo to dump me there and go on his business, and then come back pretending that he was not pleased with that, if this was not pleasing to him, then he would have taken me out of that situation from the first day.
I received now more heart pain than the first pain.
But I got more pain from than the first I got. Then Bo is just speaking things that are not very serious.
The question is, you are complaining, you are telling this commission that you are severely tortured.
Benen laajte bi mooy yaa ngi wax fii ci commission bi ne métital yu métti moom lañ la deg.
And at some point it affected your health.
Te sax am na jamono joo xam ne sax sonal na la ci sa wàllu wérgu yaram.
Because you had lacerations on your body.
Ndaxte am na ay xar-xar yoo xam ne am nga ko ci sa yaram bi.
How is your health now?
Léegi nag naka la sa wérgu yaram mel.
I just try to manage with it.
Because
the state has done nothing and the army too has done nothing.
Commissioner Samba, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Sam Kambi,
My apologies for the hardships that you have undergone.
I don't want to like, parce que yaa ngi wax ne sa salary bi daf doon dem on ndax yoo xamoon nga ne sa salary bi daf doon dem on ndax biñ la bàyyee si nga soog a xam ne sa salary bi daf doon dem on.
I want to know, because you said that while you were incarcerated, your salary was on. Were you aware of this situation while you were still incarcerated, or was it after you were released?
After 2 years, some months,
after 2 years and some months after I was charged,
I deserved to a visitor.
I deserved to have visitor. That was when my wife began to come to Mile 2 to visit me. That was where she told me that she was receiving salary. And that was where she also told me that she has noticed an increment in the salary. And that was where also she revealed to me that that was where I told her that Bo has told me that I was promoted. The second question is, you said while you were in Mile 2, the 3 nights that you spent at the cell, you were completely naked. Did anyone amongst the panel object to you being put in that naked condition, or did all of them actually agree that you should be made naked? What I can discover from the panel, when I was being beaten until I was hit just above my head and above my eye, and I fainted until I came to, within themselves,
they want to stop kiss living so day.
I heard it been said, stop, if you continued, this guy will die.
Motor force this, maybe why the second day, the third day, panel.
I believe the panel was responsible for the beatings I got on the first day, but they were not responsible for the second and the third day.
And second and third day be more.
And the second and third day were more painful. How many kids do you have?
6.
6.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imam C. You have the floor.
Mr. Kambai,
thank you, Mr. Kambai. Thank you for the hardship. And we also sympathize with you. Where did you go to in Senegal?
Ndar.
Did you have treatment there? I could not have treatment because I was not having money. You did not have treatment there, and you do not have treatment here as well, did it? No. How many years were you in prison?
I'm now for 4 years, 8 months.
4 years, 8 months.
What
year did you return back?
Mile 2.
What year
Senegal,
from Senegal?
4 months.
I had only 4 months in Senegal and I returned home. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any final remarks to make, please go ahead, witness, and make your final remarks. Thank you.
Sere bu fekkee ne am na ay kàddu yu mujj yoo xam ne bëgg nga ko fee gaaral mën nga koo def léegi.
Waaw kàddu yu moo nekk xëy na di gërëm TRC.
Is to thank the TRC,
chairman ak teamam bi,
the chairman and his team,
lead council ki nga xam ne mu ngi uddiga,
the lead council who is seeking to
na la yeneen ya jàppale.
May God assist you.
Why is big task la?
It's a big task.
For Gambia.
I would not say that those who don't speak the truth are there. But if they are there, they are not many. The reason why I did not come here earlier than now, because I lost faith in the Gambian. But I sat down for a long time and I was watching TRRC proceedings. And I realized that these are people of truth.
Maybe they can solve my problem.
And I said, maybe they can solve my problem. But the way in which this country is moving, all of us are Gambians. Certain things should not be. We should not be doing those things to one another. There was one day I was in Carton. I had Chairman Sise,
lead council Fall,
the lead council Fall. They said that they were planning on a coup d'etat. There are so many of your colleagues. There are many Gambians. The accusations that they were levied against them. Today, many women have lost their husbands. Many men, if they were well, they are no more well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kambai. Sorry, would you?
Mr. Kambai, I'm sorry about this. If you want to take 5 more minutes and you come back and finish, we can give you that opportunity. Otherwise, we can end it here as you have suggested. But think about it and make a choice.
Mr. Kambai, la jox juróomi minute rek ba nga dal nga dellu si waat waaye ba tey tam nañ ko emale fii rek comme ni nga ko xalaatee léegi nag xalaatal ñaar yooyu ban nga ciy def.
I guess maybe perhaps the best thing would be to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Jërëjëf, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Kambai.
Jërëjëf, Mr. Kambai.
Are you ready now? Shall I?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Kambai, for coming to testify before the Commission.
Mr. Kambai, Commission.
And again, we are truly sorry that we had to endure so much hands off from NIA agents. But you were very brave in refusing to sign false statements at the time that you refused.
Why not going to call am ga fit lol jambar nga pour baña sign kayit yi nga xamne lu deggu nekku ci ñu sign lolako.
I hope all goes well with you and your family.
Te man la ñaanal jamm am ci dal la yow yak say njabot yépp.
Again, thank you so much for coming to the Commission.
Jërëjëf benen yoon ñu la gërëm ci li nga nango ñew fi ci commission bi.
We'll now take a lunch break and then resume at 3 o'clock sharp. Thank you all very much indeed. Meeting is adjourned.